Hi, this is Heather Wilson, and I wanted to show you some tips to help your students, your older students, and even your younger students with the help of their parents, how to keep track of their assignments and when they're due by using the Google Calendar. So if you're not familiar with it, Google has this built-in calendar that is integrated with all of the Google apps. So if you didn't know this already, whatever you are assigning your students in the classwork tab within your stream is going to show up on the date that it is due in that student's Google Calendar. So the first thing you should do is make sure your students know how to access this. And there's a couple of different ways. One way is that you can make sure it shows up in their Google Apps. So the Google Apps page looks like this, and you can see the calendar's not there. So I'm going to navigate to the Google Calendar, and I can do that just by typing in Google Calendar, going to the Google Calendar, which I already had open there, I now realize. And then in the upper right hand corner, if you click here and then say More Tools, Create Shortcut, give it the name, what that is doing is that it is now adding it to this page. So once they open this little icon here, it will show them all of these apps. Now, as many as you can add is just like using an iPad or whatever, you're swiping back and forth. Okay, that's one way they can access it. Another way is once they're actually on that page, they can grab this little lock, click on it and hold, and drag it right down into their toolbar. Now, when I put things in my toolbar, I like to give them little short names so I can fit more things up there. So maybe I'm just going to call it calendar. Sometimes I just leave off the names altogether and then it just shows the icon. So here's another quick and simple way that my student can access that calendar. One more way is, let's say we're in a different tab. You see this right here? This is called the Google Waffle. And if you click on that, you can see that here are the apps as well. So my student can click right here and it will take them to their Google Calendar. So there's a couple ways they can get there. Now what I want you to know is that when you are giving out assignments, whatever you assign as classwork will automatically show up here in the stream, but it doesn't work the other way around. So for example, if you're posting your Zoom meetings in your stream, that's great. Your kids will see them there, but that's the only place they're going to see them. If instead you go over and you post them in your classwork tab, now I'm back over in my teacher classroom, if you post it here in classwork, then it will show up on the due date in their Google Calendar. So here's what you do. You will create an assignment. I'm going to call it Zoom meeting. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my info from my Zoom meeting. I'm going to copy it, and paste it right over here in the instructions. Okay, and if you didn't know this, you can use that same meeting ID and password over and over again. Just give them the same code every time. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure it's going to the classes I want. So right now it's just going to the one class that I'm in. If I teach several sections of the same subject and I want all of those students to show up at one time, I can do that too by assigning it to more than one classroom at a time. So I just click the little boxes for all of the classes I want to assign it to, and then I go back over. I can assign it a point value or say I don't want it to be graded. And if you only want it to go to specific students, you can do that here. I only have 2 students in my class. And here is where you give it a due date. And let's say our next Zoom is going to be April 22nd. Maybe we'll do it on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Okay? Let's see, there we go. Now I can give it a topic, and I'm going to create a topic, called Zoom. And then I will go up here, and if I click assign, it will automatically show up on that stream. Let's say I want to schedule it so that it shows up on their stream on Monday morning. Okay, so I can click schedule right here. Now it shows up as a scheduled meeting, and then once 8 a.m. on April 20th rolls around, it will show up in their stream. It will also show up as a due date on their Google Calendar. So as soon as that hits the stream, it will show up on their Google Calendar. And once they look at it, they can look ahead and see, oh, on Wednesday, I have this Zoom meeting come up. Okay, now the last thing I want to show you is how you can set it up for the next week. So let's say you're going to have that meeting every week at the same time. Maybe you're going to have it at a different time. But here's what you can do. If you click Create, right here, there we go. We're going to say Reuse Post. And we're going to reuse this Zoom meeting post. And we're going to put in the new information. Again, I can leave this the same. Maybe next week I'm going to have our Zoom meeting on Tuesday at 10 a.m. because maybe my students can't come on Wednesday. So I'm going to go right here and schedule my next one. So maybe I'll do it Tuesday next week at 10 a.m. just to make sure I'm hitting all those times that my students are going to be able to show up. And again, I can go up here and I can schedule it. And I'm going to schedule it for the next Monday because I want to schedule those also. They see them on their stream right away on Monday morning. And then all I need to do is wait for that 27th to roll around. Now I can keep doing that over and over again, reusing that post every time I want that Zoom to show up. Now, unfortunately, Google Classroom does not let you automatically assign recurring assignments, so this is kind of a workaround and you have to do it every week, but that's how you're going to do it. So anyway, I hope you get something out of that tip. If you have any questions, please email me. My name again is Heather Wilson and my email address is wilsonh@skschools.org.